The Knicks just finished playing the Minnesota Timberwolves, in which they lost by the score of 117 to 100. And Chris and I are here to break down the game, all that and much more on the Knicks Digest. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel and Chris in the building, and we're here to break down the game. Chris, we're gonna get right into the video. And rough game, man. Rough
Yeah.
game. Um, a lot of different ways to go. I think the obvious one is the start of the third quarter. That's what absolutely destroyed us. Being outscored 35 to 19. The Knicks only had 6 field goals in that quarter, 6 of 23 to be exact. And as far as 3 pointers, they only hit 2 3 pointers out of the 10 shots that they took. Pretty brutal, man. And as far as me personally, I was looking forward going into this game because Minnesota was, yeah, they still are with this win. They still are the leading team in the Western Conference. I believe they're like 10-3 maybe, or 10 and
Yeah.
4, one of those two. But yeah, man, the Knicks this game, I was looking forward to it. It was gonna be a good test to see like where do we lie, even though the Minnesota Timberwolves are in the Western Conference. It was a good gauge to check the temperature in the room for the team, to see where the weaknesses, see where the strengths are. But what about you, man? What'd you see?
Yeah, I mean, basically how you highlighted it. I saw that old third quarter Knicks thing where the other team makes an adjustment at halftime and they just come out and absolutely ransack the Knicks. That's what happened tonight. I mean, the first quarter, Timberwolves win 31-28, the next one 27-28, the Knicks win, and then 35-19. And the Knicks won the final quarter 25-24. So it was the one quarter where the Knicks just played really bad basketball. They couldn't hit a shot. They could not figure out anything offensively. And Quentin Grimes was just straight up getting worked by Anthony Edwards tonight.
Horrible game. He was 0 for 6 for both 3 pointers and regular field goals. He was 0 for 6. And he finished with a donut. No points, nothing,
Oh,
bro.
really, just one of the worst games I've ever seen Quentin Grimes play, honestly. And it's not only like he played badly, it's DiVincenzo couldn't really hit shots. Randall was not playing great at all. He was getting to the line well, but that was it. RJ had a rough game shooting wise, especially with field goals inside the arc. The only person who really had a good game tonight, or the only people, were Brunson and Mitch. Mitch just is going to put up those numbers regardless and have a force in the paint. Even with Rudy Gobert there, he looked pretty good. And then Jalen Brunson had it working, but I don't know. They were the only two to really show up tonight.
Yo, what I saw throughout the game is, especially in the first half, I think I saw the Knicks like trying strategically make it a half court game because the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're so athletic and they're so like big in every spot. You got Cat at the 4, Gobert at the 5, Anthony Edwards at the 2, Mike Conley, who's like a regular point guard as far as height wise. And the small forward, I forgot who they started. Oh, it was Jaden McDaniels, who's one of the best guards in the league, but he went out with an ankle injury. But yo, it's just like when the Knicks, granted, the Knicks are not in the Western Conference, obviously, but I can't think of the equivalent in Eastern Conference. But when they go up against a team that's big in those certain spots, that's athletic, that like to get up and down. This is where I'm really worried about the Knicks because the Knicks are such a half court team like Brunson and quickly within the pick and roll, they're always trying to get the defender on their hip, and then when they go up for a jump shot, the defender runs into their back, and that's how they get the fouls called. But while they're getting those fouls called, it slows the game down so much, and that's in favor of the Knicks. But then again, like I'm saying, this game, the Minnesota Timberwolves is like they get a rebound, and the best quarter or the best amount of time that they looked within the game is when they're getting up and down the court. And the Knicks look like it's not that they look like they had dead legs, but it just looked like they just couldn't keep up. And I'm just worried that that's going to be an Achilles heel for the Knicks moving forward in this season.
Yeah, no, I sort of agree. There was a lot of transition basketball by the Timberwolves where there was constant fast breaks in the Timberwolves' favor. It felt like they always had numbers down the court. It felt like a Nick was always the last guy to get down the court. And there was that one play where Brunson and Josh Hart were down there. And then you also have DiVincenzo, but it feels like only the Villanova guys are really hustling and on every single possession throughout the game, really getting there on both ends. And to defend Mitchell
Nova boys.
Robinson, facts, facts, facts. And to defend Mitchell Robinson, he does so much and has to go the full 94 feet essentially every time there's a possession, whether it's offensive or defensive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess he sort of gets a pass, but the Knicks just got outworked in transition tonight. And on the topic of size, I think the only team in the Eastern Conference that you could sort of make the comparison is the Cleveland Cavaliers, or if the Celtics were to go big. And the Cavs are just straight up not as good as the Timberwolves. So there is a difference there.
Yeah, you raised a good point with the Boston Celtics. That lineup is looking crazy. Another thing that I noted is it might be a small thing, but it's just something that I saw that was pretty annoying to me. I saw a lot of like penetration from the Knicks, which is great. Obviously, we want the players to penetrate the paint and either to look to finish or to kick out. But in tonight's game, I saw a lot of penetration, but not with the intent to finish. It was like a penetration and automatically looking to kick out. I
Mhm.
would like to see like DiVincenzo was doing it, Barrett was doing it. I would like to see the players penetrate hard and but with the intent of finishing because when you're going in there with the intent of just kicking out, the defense is not really they're not going to honor that. And that was a little bit of annoying. I saw something that was a little bit annoying and I just hopefully that's not something that they pick up and that's going to be carried through the rest of the season. And yeah, man, one of the highlights being Anthony Edwards, who's probably going to be an MVP player within the next season or two. This past summer, he played in the World Cup games, not the Olympics, the World Cup games. And every time an NBA player gets with the USA team, whether it's for the World Cup, whether it's for the Olympics, there's always one player or there's always like a few players the following season who have like an MVP like season. And for Anthony Edwards, the MVP season might not be this season, but you could definitely see the growth within his game. You can see that he took definitely nuggets from different players. I mean, earlier this season, he had like a one-on-one duel versus Jason Tatum, and he completely just worked him in the fourth quarter and also in the overtime. So, Anthony Edwards, I mean, that's Minnesota Timberwolves. You better not let him go. He's gonna be one of the bright spots for the league. But yeah, Chris, I don't know if you wanted to chime in about him.
Yeah, so essentially, like, what I'd have to say there, just to tie it back to the Knicks, is that might be one of those matchups where you don't want Quentin Grimes defending him because Grimes is smaller than Edwards. And usually Grimes can hold his own against the guy who's decently sized. But honestly, it
Who
felt
would
like
you put
maybe
on him?
RJ
RJ?
probably. He's just bigger. Like one of the main things with Edwards is that he was just bodying Grimes up completely. Like he was moving right through him. He was forcing people to help. And every time there was help, he would just kick the ball to an open man. And the Timberwolves were making that shot. And the reason is because they made that adjustment. It was good coaching by Chris Finch, and it's just the Timberwolves are a good team and they know what they're doing and they play basketball the right way and they play it around Edwards the right way.
Yeah.
So it worked. I think if you want to put someone on an island with a physical defender or with a physical offensive player, you go to RJ Barrett. I think that's who you look to there. But yeah, not a great game there. However, Anthony Edwards, tremendous. He's probably going to be the best shooting guard in the NBA in not too long.
Facts. I mean, this is not an excuse for Quentin Grimes, but I feel like if you put anybody on Anthony Edwards, they were going to get worked. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
even with you saying RJ, I think RJ would have gotten worked by Anthony Edwards. He might have done
Agreed.
a little bit better of a job on Edwards, but Anthony Edwards is a lot more athletic. He's a lot more fast than RJ, so I feel like he probably would have been able to blow past him. He's not RJ might be a little bit more physically just because he might be a little older, but yeah, no, that's a good point.
And the New York Knicks will then be playing the Miami Heat on Friday. So the Knicks are going to have to sit on this loss for the next few days. Obviously, no Thanksgiving games with the fact that football is as big as it is and that the NBA would lose some revenue playing on Thanksgiving. So we're going to have to sit around and wait till Friday, which, as I said, it sucks. But the Knicks are also going to sit on this loss. They're not going to like it. They're a competitive team. And the Miami game is a game that we know, regardless of what was going to happen tonight, the Knicks are going to get up for. This is the team that eliminated them in the playoffs. And obviously, Strus is gone, Gabe Vincent's gone, and some players came in, like Josh Richardson, making his return to the Heat. However, I think it sucks that the Knicks have no momentum going into this game because the Heat are they're a team that's going to be aware of that and try to instantly come out there and get running on the Knicks early.
Yeah, you can never doubt the Miami Heat. They're always going to come to play. Don't forget, it's an in-season tournament game, so it's going to be another factor going into it. The players are going to care that much more, right?
There it is. Those guys like Julius Randle, who are making nearly $30 million, they want that 500K, man. It's real important to them.
500
You know how I
stacks,
feel.
baby. But yeah, man. So I mean, Friday, hopefully the Knicks bounce back. That'll be it for today's video, guys. Before we end, we want to remind you to smash the subscription button. Hit that subscription button. Let's get the numbers up and let's get it straight to the moon. So until next video, Chris and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.